Mark, how did Marcus look today, given his travel schedule, and was there any concern that everything he did last week might take something out of him?
No, there wasn't, I wouldn't say any level of concern. I think he's probably more excited than anybody to just be back in his native habitat, you know, be out on the football field and do what he loves best, being with his teammates, and like we said last week, great distractions.
Right side, AJ?
Coach, obviously you've got a few weeks until the game. When do you start implementing the game plan for Florida State?
We have a little bit in the last couple of days, and basically today and yesterday we kind of did, in football terms, kind of a glorified long Monday. Got a little bit more work than we would with the threes and the sort of young guys yesterday and today. Tomorrow is going to be a total game plan focused mental day. We're not going to do anything physically, but we're going to have meetings, walkthroughs, all that kind of stuff. Do some logistical things, whether it's just all the things that go along with the bowl, credentials and all that kind of jazz, all that exciting stuff. And then from there it will be basically game week here, 4 days off for Christmas, game week plus really 2 bonus days down there, and ramp up to game time.
Front right, Dan?
Mark, not to get too introspective, but are there ways that you have evolved as a head coach during this season, or certain things that you've been able to implement personally as you've gone along here and your time here?
I think we've evolved as a program, and that's probably more important than any one individual. We all want to change for the better, that to then by virtue make the program better. I think our performance team, our medical people, our strength and conditioning coaches, our sports science people have done a fantastic job this year of managing a bunch of things, thinking long term, and again, hopefully, if I'm doing something a second time, I'm doing it better as well.
Right here, just quick.
Kind of along those lines, it seems like the seminal moment of the season was that practice after the Arizona loss.
Pun or no pun intended? Seminal moment.
I see what you're saying. Then you've talked about how it was important that the kids came and didn't point fingers and all that. But I'm wondering, what was that process like for you before that practice from the end of the Arizona game? Because certainly from the outside you got a lot of criticism and a lot of eyes were on you. What process did you go through to get you to that practice where you addressed the team?
I think we addressed it immediately after the game in the locker room, just in terms of what are we going to do now, and it wasn't anything. I don't know. Maybe ask the players. I don't remember anything too extravagant. I think we believe so much in what we're doing. There's a bounce here, a play there that doesn't go your way, and you lose to a top 5, top 10 team. That happens. But I think the biggest thing of all is like you said, not only the players not pointing fingers, but a lot of times, in football, the coach, says, "Hey, Jason, you should have done this. You should have done this." And that never happened. It's we need to do this. We need to do that. And I think across the board in every phase, our program is a program. We're a team, and that's important. We've got through some of the things we've gone through.
One of the things the players did say that resonated was you getting up and taking ownership and saying, "Hey, I could do this better, or I could have done that better." Is that just your style, or was that kind of premeditated?
I don't remember meditating over it or premeditating. I think in general, I firmly believe that bad stuff belongs to the coaches, and the good stuff is because of the players and the assistants, and that will never change. And that's I think that's just how I'm wired, and that's because it's true. We have to coach them. People say execution on the players. You got to coach it. You got to coach every phase of it, and then if those guys think it's because of them, then they're going to be better. Down the road, and everybody benefits. But like I've said before, you don't want to really find out how great you are coming back from that stuff. But our guys handled it great.
You're Steve in the second row.
Mark, how would you describe the personality of the senior class?
personality of the senior class. This is a great, it's funny, when you're on a team and you're in a team, like you're kind of in the deal, in the fold right now, you don't really think of seniors and, it's just kind of everybody's, it's the 2014, group, it's the 2015 group, but certainly there's a bunch of very special guys for very different reasons, guys that have taught me a ton, guys that hopefully we've given them something that has made their life better. I know that's taken place, in whatever realm, academically, in their position rooms, in the football phase, all those things. There's a lot of special guys that will, never forget, absolutely. Personality, I don't know. Let me think about that one for a couple minutes. I'll get back to you.
Front left, Ryan.
Mark, could you give an update on Farrell? Will he be back next semester, and is there a chance he could be with the team during this game at all?
That's all to be determined, and literally to be determined. There's a couple different long-term scenarios that we're gonna just see how it plays out. Obviously, we'd love to have him back as soon as possible, and if that was in the best interest of everybody, we'd do it. He did a great job of finishing up academically, and so far so good relative to everything else.
Front right, Dan, right here.
Mark, do you know Gary Anderson at all, and what was your impression of his move to Oregon State?
I don't know him great. I know of him. We've met before, and he's had a ton of success. But yeah, nothing is shocking and surprising anymore. Whether it's hirings, firings, moves, either suspected or unexpected. But no, he's a great coach.
Right side, Tyson.
This obviously varies probably by a case-by-case basis, but with when you have junior college guys coming into the program, what sort of transition do you see usually from them from their first year to the second year? I'm kind of talking like Joe Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely. You hit it right on the head of the first part. It's total case by case. You saw a kid like Kyle Long comes in and has a little bit more experience maybe than Joe in whether it's baseball or otherwise, and comes in and about midway through the season, the guys, to be honest, their first round pick. And some guys, it's just maybe their mindset when they first show up and kind of feel their way through things. And but Joe's always been one of those guys. Just being around him, you root for him, and you want a guy like that. Sometimes he's a great guy, really fun guy to be around, and you just want him to come out of the shell in every way on the field. He's always played hard. He just kind of fit in where he's supposed to be every time and doing all those things all the time. But it just absolutely depends on many factors.
Second row, middle, right here.
Maybe you've already done this, Mark, but I've not heard of it. Can you sort of give me a scattering report a little bit on Florida State about playing and disrupting their offense, disrupting their quarterback? Then defensively, what are some of the things they try to do relative to what you've seen? And then the third thing is, are you going to try to keep the kicker off the field?
Yeah. Well,
do you want him to kick field goals?
CATs, yeah, or field goals. When you get to this point, you're playing an exceptional team, and they are absolutely that. They are very talented. They're long, athletic, physical. Defensively, they're I'm trying to think of a comparison, kind of a combination of Michigan State, of Stanford, of Arizona. They do a bunch of stuff up front. They're very multiple. They do a lot in terms of they can base out of a 4-down front and play kind of that package. They can base out of a 3-man front with a bunch of different blitz combinations, and they have them and Stanford are probably the most varied from a coverage standpoint that we see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then whether it's the corners or the back, there's freakishly athletic. Goldman obviously is kind of the guy that gets most of the headlines up front, but they've got about 7 guys that play a ton that make a bunch of plays. Offensively, obviously Winston gets the pub, and deservedly so. But they've got 2 tailbacks and 3 wideouts, and Nick O'Leary is a phenomenal player. And then a couple All-American offensive linemen. So other than that, it's kind of your normal garden variety #1 team.
Front, just quick.
Mark, I think nationally, most people, when they hear spread offense, think of passing, but you guys just led the conference in rushing for the 9th consecutive season. What is it, or what's different about your guys' approach to running in the spread offense?
I think that's one of those terms, kind of like West Coast offense. You know, West Coast offense was invented by guys in Ohio. So, where's that? I'm not sure where that coast is, but there's a bunch of different styles of quote unquote spread. There's the old run and shoot days, I think, became known as the spread, and then whether it's Mike Leach or some other derivative of that, maybe the modern day spread version of that. There's a ton of teams that run the ball effectively out of the spread deal, whether it's Ohio State or the Florida teams with Tim Tebow. That was definitely a style of spread, and Mississippi State does that some. Baylor,